It's clicked.
Good job for it. The podcast has started.
And here we go. Another fantastic episode of Unfiltered Copenhagen.
Can you really say it's fantastic before the episode is over? It could be a terrible episode.
Yeah, that's true. But if judging by the couple of reviews we've gotten, I could say rated 5 out of 5 stars on Facebook.
Yeah. And we only know 50% of the people who rated it.
Hey,
it's good. 50% is not everybody.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, and none of them are his family.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Facebook, we got a little clarification on
correction.
Correction.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe a clarification would mean that we were actually sort of right. We just got extra details. We were apparently
we have no fucking clue what we're talking
wrong
about. So do you want to clear up the mishap or the misinformation for it? It wasn't really misinformation, I think. It was we were
unaware.
Yeah,
and based on the way that a lot of articles were written about prostitution. I think this was about episode 29, was it? Orgies and Undies or something like that. I think it was when we were talking about the politician that was potentially being investigated for bringing some girls to basically a gangbang, I guess. And we were talking about how, if there was no pimping or whatever involved and everybody was consenting, it should be fine. So I guess our understanding was that, hey, maybe it's not legal. And a listener sent us an article that basically clarified the legal status of prostitution here. And apparently, technically, it is not legal, but it is not illegal.
It's decriminalized, right?
Yeah.
However,
you can't pimp.
Yeah, no, you can't.
So you can't make money off of somebody else's prostitution. And it's legal for you to buy it, I guess, as long as the prostitute is over 18. It's technically not legal for them to prostitute, but it's not punished or illegal, I guess, so decriminalized. And they have to file taxes on anything more than 50,000 crowns a year.
Well,
but with that, they get health benefits.
And wasn't there something about sick days? You have the article
it said
right?
some sickness thing. Let me see if I got it here. Well, oh boy, it's going to be hard to find, isn't it? Oh no, it's right here.
It's there.
Okay, so it's not illegal to be a prostitute, and if you make more than 50,000 crowns, you need to pay tax. And it was changed. The law text on prostitution was changed in 1999. So it was no longer treated as criminal, but is technically not legal.
Yeah, but I'm not entirely sure what the difference is, because if you have to pay taxes on it, I mean, it seems pretty fucking legal to me. I don't know what the legal definition of...
I mean, this here, you should therefore pay tax as self-employed, and beratel.
You're allowed. I think you're given
you're allowed,
not allowed, but granted, something like that.
Sudalping, so sick days,
yes,
or sick money,
yeah.
But since it's not legal, you cannot become a part of A-Casa.
Oh, okay.
So if you become unemployed, you can't, take some A-Casa thing.
So is that the difference between, or one of the differences, maybe, between something being legal or just, in this case, being decriminalized?
I don't know. What, that you can't get A-Casa?
Yeah. I was saying that I'm not sure what it seems pretty fucking legal to me.
Yeah, if you can buy it and you can prostitute yourself, technically it's...
And you have to pay tax on it.
Yeah.
But okay, so
I don't know.
You can't get...
It's one of those things. It's like Amsterdam in the Netherlands. It's not really legal. But they don't really care enough to do anything about it, do they?
Do you actually know what the legality of it is there?
I think it's actually not legal there.
It's not legal. So
No.
Here or what?
Yeah, I think it's okay. Well, if we're gonna get another clarification with some guy, but as far as I know, no, it's basically accepted there, but I don't think it's legal.
Well, they're not doing it in very stealthily, so
no, certainly not. So I guess nobody cares that much, do they?
Yeah,
well, I'm glad we got that cleared up. So if you want to go,
You can be a pimp.
have sex with a prostitute, you know,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah, no need to hide anymore.
Just be safe about it.
Maybe from your family,
You know?
if you're embarrassed.
Wear a big oversized condom, and
Why oversized?
I don't know. It's like a joke, you know.
Oversized seems a pretty
Well,
bad
it's actually
way
seems more unsafe, right?
yeah.
It's kind of a joke. Like
It's like the
you
other
want to
thing
cover
about
as much as possible, like all the way up to your thighs and everything too. Like a bodysuit, Dolph.
It's like the other thing about if you want to be extra safe, just wear 2 condoms. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah, the friction's gonna pop something.
So there you go. A little clarification on the prostitution laws.
Yeah, so thanks
in
for
Denmark.
that. I mean,
thanks, Anas.
hey, we don't claim to be complete experts in anything here.
Not even half. I don't claim to be
I wouldn't even
experts on anything.
Yeah, we just live here. You know, we comment on things. Sometimes we're wrong about them.
I just like spending some time with you, Ford, and talk shit.
Yeah, I love it. How was the walk over here? Yesterday it was kind of shitty. Last night, there was like kind of the first snow of the year.
Yeah, it was snowing yesterday.
But it was kind of this half-ass snow where it didn't really stick to the ground. It just melted right away.
I don't
and
think it was
slushy.
0 degrees, actually. It was just, as it was falling, it was kind of floaty. But then as soon as it hit the ground, it just vanished.
I was walking home. I had some beers last night after the Danish class. And when I was walking home, it was slippery as hell. Like they hadn't, I guess, really put the salt out properly or whatever. And so it was kind of like that slushy ice where it's very slippery and slick. And there was a part of the road that I looked, and it looked like they had put salt there because it looked like it was clear of any snow. So I was like, I'm going to walk right there. And of course, then I stepped in like 4 centimeters deep of water that was like ice cold. And I was like, oh, okay. It's not frozen there, but there's water there. So that was nice. I soaked my shoes basically through and through.
There's no stuff like this in Texas.
Home in the mud. And
how's the weather in Texas right now?
Probably pretty good. Where do you want, Austin or Houston?
Is there going to be a big difference?
Nah, not a huge difference. But
I mean, I know
it'll
Texas
usually
is big,
be more humid in Houston. Let's see what Austin is. What's the weather forecast? 13 degrees Celsius, sunny.
Sunny, okay.
Mm-hmm. Wednesday, it'll be 20 degrees, partly cloudy. Pretty nice in Austin.
Maybe it's morning there now, or what?
It's 10 a.m.
Okay, it'll get better.
Mm-hmm. It'll just get worse here.
Yeah, please don't remind me. I'm going to Portugal on Sunday.
Dude, it was getting dark at 3:30 in the afternoon.
I know. I saw it. I noticed yesterday. The
like
sunset.
You texted me like, "Hey, I'm leaving work. I'm coming over there pretty soon." I was like, I was like, Jesus Christ, it's already fucking nighttime. You know, completely night.
I noticed sunset yesterday was around 3:30. It's a bit depressing.
It is. I need to keep taking my vitamin D, man.
But it's what you get for living in such a beautiful city.
Mm-hmm. It is. You know what else you get in a beautiful city like this?
What do you get for it?
Access to some tasty vegetarian meals, Dolph.
Is that true? Tell me about it.
Well, I guess so. I think it's pretty friendly for vegetarians here. My girlfriend is a vegetarian.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know because obviously I don't need to, or not obviously, I don't need to worry about that. So I don't really pay much attention to how easy it is to.
Well,
find it.
I think there's a lot of places that are specifically vegetarian because you have some like hip areas in town and kind of hip restaurants and stuff like that. But I will take back a little bit because if you're just talking about a place that's not specifically vegetarian, almost everywhere basically has meat in every dish. You know what I mean? There's like so many places that if you go to just kind of a standard, Danish food or any kind of takeaway place or just kind of something on the corner, almost everything will have meat.
But I thought you were gonna.
Well, I was gonna say but then I didn't. I don't know. It's a problem my girlfriend has. Like if we go out somewhere to eat where it's kind of it's not specifically like a healthy or a vegetarian type place. Often she's got to like, go to some trouble to get them to make something without like make this dish like you would, but without meat, stuff like that,
Yeah.
instead of them just having a vegetarian option available.
Why? I don't know if you noticed. You kind of equated vegetarian with healthy. Like the way you kind of used healthy just as
Yeah.
another word for vegetarian.
Yeah, well, I guess I
And
did, but not necessarily. I mean, usually you associate kind of more healthy oriented places with at least having more options like vegan, vegetarian, other stuff like that. I mean, I guess also it has been shown that eating like meats and processed meats and stuff like that does increase your risk for like cancer and other type of things. So, I mean, maybe from a factual perspective, like technically it might be more healthy. I don't know, depending on what your biggest concern about health is, whether it's, yeah, like protein intake or long term effects of, having triglycerides or certain saturated fats and all that stuff and all the nitrates and things they put in processed meats. And yeah, I don't know. But I think it's also like, I think maybe it's something that became more like I did it more after I got here because I feel like Danes also kind of do that too. They consider if you're going to a vegetarian place, they'll be like, "Oh, we don't want that healthy shit." Like sometimes our good friend will joke like, "Oh, you don't want salad. That's too healthy."
well, but that's also because you are
What am I?
not a salad enthusiast. Let's just put it like that,
No, I
right?
wouldn't. No, I wouldn't call myself a salad enthusiast.
What's your favorite vegetable?
Favorite vegetable, like legit vegetable.
um,
Well, what I'm saying is like, is corn. Corn isn't really vegetable. It's like a legume or a grain or something, right? I like corn. No, no, no. If you're
uh,
talking about a green vegetable, probably green beans is my favorite,
okay.
or broccoli can be okay as well.
Do you like the broccoli soft or crunchy?
Uh, a bit in between. I don't want it like so mushy that it's kind of gross to eat, but I don't
Hmm.
want it so crispy either to where it doesn't have any give. So yeah, somewhere in the middle, I guess.
That's one thing that I've noticed. It seems that to me, it seems that in Denmark, people really like to eat raw broccoli.
Oh yeah, that
It's
sounds terrible.
I hate it.
Uh,
I love broccoli,
yeah.
but I don't like it raw. You know, I
You need
like
to
it
steam it or boil
steam
it
or boil
enough
it.
to where it's
Yeah.
soft enough. If you get it so much that all the little things on the actual sprout
Hmm.
are falling off
Yeah.
because you've overcooked it, that's too much.
I'd
But
rather have that than have it raw.
me too. I'm not a fucking rabbit.
There you go.
Who the
There
fucking
you go. News flash. Ford is
who
not a
the
fucking rabbit.
fuck eats raw broccoli?
Danes do.
What a fucking chump. Kind
There you go. It just offended.
of all the Danes.
No,
Yeah,
at least the
at least half of them.
maybe. I don't
Every
know what.
third Dane. See how I did?
It's something. It
You
was.
see how I did that?
What did you do?
That's the Danish way of saying a percentage. Instead of saying 33% of Danes, I said every third Dane.
Yeah. Well,
It's so strange to me. That way of describing a percentage. Every third man eats raw broccoli and loves it.
I mean, I think in this in this context, it actually works better.
Don't steal my thunder.
I take back what I said.
All right.
There you go, Ford.
So, speaking of broccoli and salad and healthy eating and vegetarianism, you'll now be able to get some tasty vegetarian fake meat.
Is it tasty?
Well, okay, we're going to get to that too. Anyways, Naturally has some product called Hackle Veggie, and it's like a minced veggie meat, kind of like you would get hackaboof,
Man.
or yeah, but like a chopped beef, but a veggie version of that. And it's spiced and salted, I think. It's starting January 2nd. You'll be able to get that as a vegetarian alternative at all 600 supermarkets that are owned by Dansk Supermarket. So that's Netto, Bilka, Foodtex.
Hmm. What does it consist of?
I think it's made out of most of these are usually made out of a soy.
Wait, it's down there.
Oh yeah, it says here, made completely from plant materials such as wheat, soy, beetroot, tomatoes, and mushrooms, which combined yields the same structure, protein, color, and taste as minced meat. Um, my girlfriend has a comment about this, and she said it tastes like shit. She doesn't like it very much.
You know, I don't really have goals necessarily about stop eating meat, you know, and switching to this.
Yeah.
I could probably eat less meat, like mostly almost everybody, I will assume.
Right.
Nearly everybody. I have to say though, I have a friend in the States whose family has a Lebanese restaurant, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
in California, or there's like 3 or 4 of them. And they have this dish which is made, it's minced meat. It's made with lamb, I believe.
Okay.
And I was there once with a few friends, and a girl that was with us, she was vegetarian, so she got that exact dish. I can't remember the name, but she got the exact same dish, but the vegetarian version. So it's a minced meat, a vegetarian version of a minced meat dish. And when you look at it, I mean, unless you're an expert, I really don't think you can tell the difference. But better than that, I tasted it.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good. And
Was it better?
I don't know if it was better, but it was at least as good.
Yeah.
If you had given me one, like that one, I mean, it's been a while ago, but I was so pleasantly surprised with it that if you had given me that instead of meat,
Yeah.
and you hadn't told me it wasn't meat, I don't know if I would say, "Oh yes, this is clearly meat." I can't remember, but I would not have been
You wouldn't have questioned anything.
no,
Been
or
like,
or been unhappy with the
yeah,
flavor. It was so good.
you just eaten it and shut up, you know?
I didn't shut up. I praised it to the
Oh,
skies
that
for it.
good.
It was so good.
But did you praise it because you knew it was not meat?
Yes, yes.
Okay, what I'm
yes,
saying is if
yes.
somebody handed it to you and you assumed it was meat in there and you just ate it,
Oh, it was very good anyway.
you what I'm getting at is maybe you would have just not even noticed and just kept eating it.
Maybe, but it was good
Yeah, fair enough.
regardless.
Yeah.
You know.
We've had a few of these kind of fake hackaboof type veggie meat replacements, and I think we have had this one. And this one I also wasn't really wild about, but there are a few brands that have a really good one. Like I think Corn is one of the companies that has a really good one. Because I mean, since my girlfriend's vegetarian, when we cook, I mean, we always cook vegetarian, right? And so we make like sometimes we'll make spaghetti and then like a meat sauce, except we have this kind of vegetarian, um, yeah, minced fake meat or whatever in it, and it's good. Like some of the companies are really good. I think this one by Naturally is actually not that good. This specific one, but anyways, I know you can find a lot more selection of these too, in like Irma and stuff like that.
I I I don't. I mean, I understand. I was gonna say I don't understand. I kind of understand, but it's so weird to me that this is clearly like things like this are clearly still marketed as meat that is not meat. You know,
Hmm.
why can't it just be something that stands for itself?
Well, because it probably, I guess, in some way, you still need to bridge the gap, or maybe like make it appealing for people who would normally eat meat, but like give them an option, like, hey, try this tasty veggie meat. It tastes just like the meat you know and love, which it doesn't. It's not exactly like it, but it's pretty good anyway. But I mean, imagine if they just put on the bag like corn or wheat and soy meal. You know, it's like doesn't really sound, I guess, super appealing.
I mean, to be fair, the
So,
package doesn't seem to say anything regarding meat, does it?
no, it
From
says
what I can see now.
hackle veggie, so like
Yeah, it's like
chopped veggie.
chopped vegetables, and then but it looks like meat. So
Hmm.
maybe they're trying
Yeah.
to get some people to join the dark side or the light side. I don't know which side it
I
is.
mean, you got to look at it from this perspective too. I think it's generally, I think it's either around the same price or something like that. I haven't really done a direct comparison, right? I mean, a chopped beef or minced beef is pretty cheap as well, depending on where you
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
But also, like most of this stuff is, I mean, you need to heat it up and kind of cook it to an extent, but it's already, I think, pretty much cooked. They just like flash freeze it after they've cooked it. So really, all you need to do is heat it up
Mhm.
to a point. And in that sense, I think it's also safer. You probably don't have nearly as many opportunities for foodborne pathogens and bacteria and stuff like that. And then, yeah, like processed meat stuff that's in there. I really don't think it's bad. I mean, I eat I eat vegetarian when I'm at home all week long, and then when I'm out, I'll basically, or when I'm at work and eating lunch there, I eat like meat dishes and stuff like that. So yeah,
So you're pretty much a vegetarian for it.
no, I wouldn't say that, but somewhere in the middle. Yeah.
You're probably one of the most vegetarian people at work, yet you are clearly known as the person who does not eat salad. Go figure.
Well, also Danish salad, I don't think is very good. I will eat a salad, but I want
Mm.
something that's like plain spinach, maybe some tomato, some a light olive oil, or something like that,
Mhm.
and maybe some chicken in there would be nice. If not, that's fine too. But I
You
want,
want chicken in your salad?
well, like a chicken salad is pretty good.
Yeah.
But I mean, just a simple salad with like spinach, tomato, maybe a little bit of cheese on top,
Mhm.
a little Parmesan sprinkled. But
Yeah.
but the thing is, what I'm getting at is here, it's like they make salads and they put all this shit in there that's like, it's not a traditional salad. They're like, "Oh, here, have some raisins and some sliced up pineapples and a little bit of, oranges." And
Mhm.
it's just like you'll find random shit in there and be like,
It's true.
"Why is
It's
there a
true.
watermelon in this fucking salad?" You know?
Yeah, I have to agree with. I mean, it doesn't bother me too much, but I understand and I agree that they're a bit creative with it. At least on the food. Like I don't. If you go to a restaurant, you probably don't get salads like this, do you? They're a bit more, let's say,
Traditional. I guess it
conservative.
depends
Or
on the restaurant too. Like if you go to something a little more hip and experimental, you might get some. But I'm just a little more traditional about that and kind of picky about that. And basically that's why I don't order them because I never know.
no.
You don't want to have to tell them, "Oh, I'd like a salad, but I want you to not give me this, this,
Mhm.
this, this, and this." I mean, I do that with burgers because it's just. But like, you don't want to have to tell them, "Okay, I'd like this minus everything you normally put on it except these things." It's a fucking hassle, and they always screw it up too. So then they bring you a salad, and it's got watermelon on there. You're like, "I specifically asked for no watermelon." Then you feel like a jerk, because they gotta go back and make another one. Like you're wasting their time.
I could talk about this for hours, but I don't want to seem like I'm trying
Trying to
to
what?
pick on you. So
Yeah,
we'll keep it. There'll be more opportunities in the future. I'm sure.
yeah.
So there you go. Alternative. I'm actually I'm very much looking forward to. I know this is not the same thing, but to lab grown meat. I think that for me that sounds very exciting.
Yeah, I followed a bunch of the stuff about like the lab grown burger patties and steaks that they've
Mhm.
been working on, and they're super expensive.
For
And
now,
yeah, I know. At least at this point, they're still very expensive. But I agree. I want some like scientifically perfected Wagyu beef that has no negative environmental
yeah,
consequences and like ethical concerns.
yeah. That's the thing for me. Like if lab grown meat is not as good as regular meat, at least in the beginning, because yeah, I do believe that the once it becomes normal and just yeah,
More
when,
accepted
uh,
and yeah, priced or like kind of economies of
yeah,
scale.
once it comes into the market and it becomes a normal thing to have around, yeah, I do believe that it will be easier to engineer it into something either more healthy or better tasting or just to play around with it
Yeah, they
more.
can give
Let's
you
say.
like different grades, like the same way that you buy beef with like 30% fat or beef that has like
Hmm.
8% fat and different cuts and stuff like that.
But for me the most exciting thing about it is really the ethical part of it, and
And environmental as well.
I guess so. Yeah, I mean depends on how much it actually costs to produce it, but it will probably be better. And I'm not necessarily talking about the killing the cow side of it, because I'm not like I don't stop eating meat just because you have to kill animals. But I'm really, it really affects me, the whole factory farming thing, and seeing animals just standing in their own shit and just living, it's not even miserable lives, it's really torturous lives.
Mm-hmm.
And that really gets to me.
Yeah. Well, I'm also looking forward to it. I mean, maybe at first, once they get it cheap enough, maybe if it's still not quite as good, what they could do is something like where they mix like, okay, 50% lab grown meat mixed in with like normal meat
Yeah.
to kind of start to say, okay, we're working towards being
Mhm.
more ethical and all that. But yeah, it's exciting times we live in Dolph. I want to try like a perfect like a Wagyu burger that's like lab grown.
Have you ever tried well, like a real one?
A Wagyu steak?
Mhm.
I've had an Australian Wagyu here at in
But
Copenhagen at Mash.
okay, but not the real
Not the real Japanese, the
Japanese.
Kobe beef one. No, because when I went, that one was like 15 or 1600 crowns for the steak for
Mhm.
like it wasn't really that much either.
How much? Yeah, you don't know how much?
100 grams,
Oof.
something. It was like
Okay, wow.
1500 for 100 grams,
Oh,
something.
okay.
And I was able to get the Wagyu, the Australian Wagyu
Mhm.
for like 800 crowns for like 200 grams or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's more realistic. Like, okay, like at least you get enough where you feel like it's worth. And even though it's expensive, it's not going to break the bank completely. I mean, you wouldn't eat it every day, but it was good. It was really good.
Was it
It was worth it.
better than any other steak that didn't
Mm,
cost as much?
I don't know if I would say that.
Did it stand out to you? Like, if you
Hmm.
didn't know, do you think that if you didn't know, so if you hadn't been biased because of the knowledge that it was what it was?
Well, it's in the texture too. Like there's no fat, no well, okay, there's fat, but it's marbled in there throughout the meat
Mhm.
perfectly. Where you don't have those big chunks of fat inside the steak where you like one piece is a nice meaty muscle part
Yeah.
and then you bite into another and it's like gristle and if you try to swallow it, you just choke, or whatever. It's like you chew it for 5 hours. I don't really like those super fatty parts of like for instance, um like Fläskesteg, it's okay, but sometimes there will be like a cut of meat that has a really thick, like significant portion of fat there,
Mhm.
and I'll kind of trim a little bit of that part away because I like the crispy part of the skin, and I like a little bit of that fat kind of lining,
Yeah.
and I like the meat most of all. But if there's like too much of a ratio of fat to that, I feel it just feels like unhealthy as shit when I eat just a giant chunk of fat. Like I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack.
I love it.
Tastes good. The flavor is really nice.
I like it.
It's also very rich. It's almost like too rich.
Yeah.
But on a steak, I hate that. Like on beef, those fatty gristle parts, fuck that. I just cut them off. I don't eat them. Some people eat that shit.
I eat everything.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
mean, I
So for me, that was the most noticeable thing about the Wagyu
yeah.
is that the fat is marbled in. You don't have any of those shitty pieces,
Mhm.
or to what I consider shitty pieces, I guess. So in that aspect, it was memorable.
Would you recommend me and
Getting it?
our listeners to pay 800 krona
Yeah,
for one?
yeah. If you like steak, I mean, certainly you can't go wrong trying the Wagyu, the Australian, or probably the Kobe. I don't have experience with that one at Mash, or even just their regular steaks are good, man.
Oh, the mash is so good.
Yeah,
I've
Mash
I
is
mean,
really
I
good.
haven't been there. I've been there 3 times, maybe 3, 4 times,
Hmm.
but I've always had
Steaks have
great
been
great
great.
food there.
Sides are good. Wine pairings have been nice when I've gone. If you order cocktails, they're quite good. Their service is a little more American style. I mean, after all,
It's
it's modern
modern
American
American.
steakhouse. And so they're I feel like the staff is a little more attentive. Like they come to your table a few times and check on how you're doing and
Mhm.
make sure you have everything you need and all that. Whereas usually the Danish dining experience is that
It's a bit
they
yeah.
sit you down and wait like 40 minutes and then finally come take your order. And then once they do, you better order everything you need right then, like all the drinks you're going to need, all the refills, all the food you're going to need because you're not going to see them again for 30 minutes. They're going to come bring you your food, and then you're going to eat it. And whenever it's time for the check, you're going to wait another 30 or 40 minutes trying to hound somebody down to get your bill. They just don't really care that much, like about coming by your table and kind of checking up on you. And to an extent, I think it's there's the opposite side of the coin, which is the really American way, where they come to your table
every
immediately
5 minutes.
and they want you to order right away. And then they come back, hey, how you doing, honey? How is it? How's that tasting? Do you need anything extra? And sometimes it's like overbearing. So I do appreciate the fact that you get a little more kind of space. But at the same time, sometimes it just feels like, fuck, man, you guys just forgot about me over here.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, when you pay mesh prices, you kind of
you expect better service.
Yes. Because Denmark is kind of notorious.
I can't wait.
For
like
service.
In Japan, they have places where basically you just go to the table and the table has like a little tablet or a little thing built into it, and you just pick whatever you want. And you just
don't want to deal with.
I don't
people.
even have to deal with a person, man. Like, well, I mean, I guess they got to bring you something or whatever.
What I'm saying is, you just get one of those. How do you call it?
The rolling.
Yeah,
thing.
like at the airports with luggage. That's.
No, I don't necessarily want that. What I'm saying is just if they had something there where if you needed service, you could just like tap a button on the tablet and say, "Hey, I need you to bring me a drink." Like, just tap what you want them to bring you.
Like in the airplane. Where you can just call
like a request for service, or just say, hey, can you stop by my table? I need something.
Yeah.
That's all. It would be nice.
It would look quite bad, though, if they were a bit understaffed and all of a sudden you looked around and there's 17 tables, all of them with the lights on.
I guess. You don't have to show like a light up top. They can just have some little pager or something that shows them what number needs assistance. But I know what you mean. Anyways, Dolph.
Never mind. It was a boring story.
That boring, huh?
It's not worth it.
Scale of 1 to 10?
It doesn't matter for it. That's not well on it.
All right.
Maybe one day I'll tell it when my threshold for quality has lowered significantly.
Yeah.
Right now, I want to hear about TV shows.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, what a segue we have, Dolph. What a coincidence, because our next article is about a TV show, a pretty popular one, Game of Thrones, Dolph.
I heard about it.
You've probably seen it too.
I've seen every single episode.
We watched the entirety of seasons 1 through, what was the last one? 7?
7.
Okay, so we watched the entirety.
I think
you're right too. So we had watched all the way up to season 6 already once, and we were waiting on season 7, and then that took
so you
forever.
watched everything.
And then we watched it all again.
I wanted to do that, but I'm like, fuck. I'd rather do that when the last season actually comes out, because I don't want to have to rewatch everything again in the end.
I would say it was really worth it because we watched it as the show kind of came out and came along, and so it'd been several years that we had been watching Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
And you're keeping up with the latest at that point, but you kind of forget like the subtleties and the details that happened in the earlier episodes. Like, sure, the broad strokes or whatever. But then when we went back and watched it too, it was like you already know a lot of the stuff that ultimately will happen. So you're also paying a lot more attention to maybe the foreshadowing or like smaller details that you might not have noticed before. And then being able to just watch it all kind of like not fully back to back to back, because we didn't sit there and binge for 3 days and watch the whole thing, but we watched like a couple episodes every night basically for I don't know however many weeks, almost a month it took us to catch up, and it was awesome. It was really cool.
I want to do that, but I've been waiting for the final season to come out, because I'd rather do that and actually watch everything rather than watch everything except the final 8 episodes or whatever long it's going to be.
Yeah.
So, but what about Game of Thrones? Tell me.
Well, it turns out they're bringing the Iron Throne. It's touching down in Copenhagen. It's apparently been to the grassy knoll in Dallas, Texas, right there at the Texas School Book Depository where Lee Harvey Oswald shot the old JFK. Yeah, I used to go to school down there.
Oof.
I used to walk by the grassy knoll all the time. It's always tourists there taking pictures of, yeah, where, I mean, it's like one of the most famous American presidents just got assassinated. It's kind of weird that it's like still a really big tourist thing. I mean, even into the 90s and 2000s when I was there. And of course, if you didn't know, it just looks like
Any other place?
any other place, yeah, in downtown Dallas. And I don't know. It's kind of it's just interesting if you know what's happened there
Hmm.
and you're kind of you work down there and you go about your daily life down there and you walk by it or you drive by it. It's just kind of like you remember every time you go right by there. You're like, oh wow, yeah, this is where JFK got shot and
Yeah,
killed.
it's kind of like walking by Ground Zero, which is not really Ground Zero. Well, yeah,
Sure.
that area, and
Yeah.
not knowing or even walking there and not thinking about the World Trade Center. It's just not going to happen
Yeah.
for many years.
So before we get off on too much of a tangent,
But wait. Since
go ahead.
I every once in a while, I mean, just imagine, you know what happened there, but you walk all around the center of Copenhagen and all around random areas here where the Vikings might have slaughtered a lot of fucking people.
Yeah. Or it was maybe, firebombed and shit like that, stuff burning down whenever didn't the British
Yeah,
basically
the
like
British.
firebomb everything here as well?
Yeah, I mean that's the same thing. It's
It
just so
is.
long ago that
It is.
you don't really know about it, but you don't
Yeah.
think about it. I like to sometimes I this doesn't happen very often, but sometimes I actually imagine like how much blood has been spilled in on this ground that I'm standing on right now,
Hmm.
and then I find something better to think of.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that one is particularly different because it was a particularly like horrific thing that happened to an individual person, and there's video footage. Like I'm at like a head just
Yeah,
completely exploding and then like falling out of the back of a car, and your wife picking it up, or like it's pretty intense. Like,
I think that might be a big reason that there's video footage of it, because you actually saw that, even though you weren't there at the time.
mhm.
You saw that, and you know that not only you know that it happened there, you saw it. And
Yeah.
it's not like, at least the World Trade
Well,
Center,
that's what I mean.
you
That's
saw
what
the.
I'm getting at. Like, I think that you think more about that one, or at least for me,
Hmm.
than I do thinking walking down the streets of Copenhagen. Wow, this area was firebombed because I don't have like video footage of that, and like I haven't seen it with my own eyes. And also, I mean, that of course affected many people and property or whatever. But then that assassination, that's like one of the most powerful men in the free world, right? President of the US. And then on top of that, it's like a very personal thing. It's just one guy getting fucked, basically, you know? I think it's more like a more powerful image. And then, yeah, you have the video of it too. Anyways, just something I recalled. But yeah, they took the Iron Throne there for some reason. But it's coming here.
It's coming here.
And you can get your chance to sit on that old Iron Throne.
Probably not before standing in line for 4 hours.
Yeah, probably not. 4-day window of opportunity to mark the release of the box set of season 7 of Game of Thrones. The Iron Throne is taking a mini tour of Greater Copenhagen. It's the opportunity for the ultimate selfie and thrill of sitting where a dejected Ned Stark
Oh, spoiler alert.
and almost every member of the Lannister family has
Spoiler
sat.
alert.
Yeah, well, if you haven't watched Game of Thrones by now, you're never going to watch it. First touching down at El Gigante in Glostrup.
Welcome capitalism. Here
December 13th to 14th. The throne will then be heading to Bilka at Fields Mall from December 15th to 16th.
Why don't they do it in some non-commercial or like maybe they can do it at Fields, which is a commercial surface, but at least it's not a company, like El Gigante or Bilka.
Well, I can tell you why.
Tell me why.
Probably because this is to promote the sale of the new season or the season 7 box set,
which is sold at El
Bilka
Gigante.
and El Gigante. Yeah, I mean, come on, some promotional shit.
Do you think if
Look, I
I
mean, season 7 has been out and it's done for a while now. Sorry to interrupt you. So,
it's fine.
do you hear people on the streets talking about Game of Thrones anymore? I don't. Nobody at work talks about it. Nobody on a train talks about it. Nobody cares because it's not out anymore.
Do you
Nobody's
hear people on the train talking about Game of Thrones?
when the season is actively ongoing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will hear people. You'll overhear people
Spoiling shit
talking.
for each
No,
other?
not spoiling shit. Just talking about like, hey, what do you think's gonna happen? Oh, I just saw that one last night. I'm so ready. Hey, no spoilers. Don't tell me what happens. I haven't seen it yet. But when there's an ongoing season, people are talking because if you watched it, you ask your friends, "Hey, did you watch it?" "Oh yeah, I watched it." "Oh, what do you think about that one part?" Because people love that fucking show.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is now that that season's done, nobody even remembers or cares about it because they're going to wait another year or whatever until the next season comes out. So for them, they bring this Iron Throne. It gets everybody kind of talking about it again. It gets all the people that have never seen it but have heard it's such a great show a chance to maybe sell the box set to them and maybe sell the box set to other people if they
Well,
want to rewatch
if
it.
you've never seen it, you're not gonna buy season 7.
No, it says the box set of season 7. I don't know if that's actually just season 7 or
It
I guess it
probably
is. But I mean, surely they also sell a box set of all of them together.
Ooh,
But that shit's expensive.
you think so?
Probably. Those things are usually usually it's like for a whole season. I remember in the US, if you bought that at like Best Buy or something, for a whole season or something, it would be like 40 or $50. And then per season.
Man, do people still buy DVDs?
Yeah, some people do.
I
I
I
like physically owning like media and not having to worry about streaming. But to be fair, it has gotten so good.
it's cumbersome. That's the thing, you know.
Yeah.
I was in film school, so I was in, some might say I still am, but to a less degree, a big film nerd, and I own a lot of DVDs
Yeah.
because I just bought so many. Like I remember before I got a job in Denmark, I used to say or tell myself like my first paycheck in Denmark, I'm gonna spend everything on DVDs. It's just
Yeah.
like yeah. I ended up not doing that, but just for the sake of just I used to buy a lot of DVDs,
Sure.
and I love having them on the shelf, and they look awesome, and looking at them reminds me of the movies. I love it. But I mean, in this day and age, I'd much rather just open my fucking computer or Apple TV or whatever the fuck people used to stream nowadays, and play the movie instead of having to go to the shelf and pick up the
Of
DVD.
course you
And
would.
I don't even have a DVD player.
Of course you would. You live in the age of instant gratification.
It's not fucking instant gratification.
It
It's the same reason I prefer streaming music than having a vinyl.
Yeah, because you click a button and it's playing right away. You don't have to fucking hassle with anything. That's what I'm saying. It's like instant gratification.
It's not just that for it. I can
So it's,
I can do it.
what I'm getting at is, imagine how it was back when people like. I remember we had VHS tapes and shit like that.
Mhm.
You have to rewind it. Like if somebody didn't rewind it, it's
Please
gonna
be
take,
kind.
Yeah, be kind.
Be kind,
Rewind.
rewind.
It take you 5-10 minutes just to rewind the thing. I mean, imagine you want to
Yeah.
watch a movie and somebody didn't rewind it. Now you got to rewind the whole thing.
Oh no. But I watched DVD. I watched the VHS tapes as well.
Oh, the humanity. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the main thing is that nobody even has a DVD player anymore. Like unless you have a PlayStation or an Xbox or specifically bought an external DVD player,
Mm-hmm.
nobody uses that shit anymore.
Yeah, I think I think I probably have some old DVD player, like USB DVD player, that I can just hidden somewhere in some box. So if I want to watch a DVD, I actually need to go find it and plug it and get the fucking DVD. It's just easier to stream.
Long story short, Dolph, are you going to go sit on the Iron Throne?
No,
Yeah, I don't think so either. Speaking of stuff that was going on around,
it doesn't look very comfortable either. Sorry, go on.
well, they had one of these here before too, but it was like a paper version of it. It wasn't the real deal. I wonder if it'll be the same or if it's like the real one or whatever they're bringing. But a few days ago, who did they have? Rasmus Seebach or something was in Fields as well, and there was a huge line to see him.
Oh,
And I was just like, wow. I mean, I guess guess if you like him or whatever, I mean, it's cool to meet him in person. But I would never wait that ridiculous amount of time unless it was somebody
Yeah,
I guess I was
but
super wild about.
you're not a true fan for
You're
it.
right. You're right. I'm not a true fan. You know.
The whole thing about I don't see back. What was his father's name? I forgot, but I think never mind. I might say something stupid. I'll just Google it while you read the next piece of news.
Go ahead and Google that, Dolph, because it's going to be a while.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, what if I told you
Mm-hmm.
we have a solution to all those asylum seekers that we don't want here? And by we don't want, I actually just mean kind of like government or DF doesn't want or something like that. What if I told
Okay,
you?
so you went from we to they.
Yeah, because in a way, I feel kind of Danish, even though I'm not a Dane. I live here, so I say we as in whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's maybe asylum seekers that are turned away that I wouldn't have turned away if I had my choice, or maybe I would be in agreement. So I guess I can't really say we here.
I'm just busting your balls for it.
But the government, yeah, you're busting my balls. I know. So DF just wants to banish them to an uninhabited island.
Oh, that's a novel idea right there.
Mm-hmm. It's like the Australian approach.
Yeah, that's like I've heard of this before. Okay, do they say which uninhabited island?
Yeah, they talk about it here. But let's go ahead. I'll just read some highlights from this article. Inga Stoiberg is all ears when it comes to new ideas to control asylum seekers. You bet your bottom dollar she is. Well, anyways, DF right now, they're negotiating with the government over this next year's finance bill, and there's a lot in the news about that as well. But one of the, I guess, pieces of the agreement or some suggestion that was put forward was that they could take the rejected asylum seekers and put them on one of the 300 uninhabited islands around Denmark while they're waiting to be deported. What do you think? Just build like a mega prison where you just keep all these asylum seekers before you kick them out? Doesn't sound super friendly, you know?
Yeah. So they just want to toss them in an uninhabited island.
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind.
It's like the equivalent of, and I'm not trying to equate. I'm not. I need to make a disclaimer. I'm not trying to equate asylum seekers with dust or trash or anything like that. But that's just like sweeping under the rug, you know. It's like you said, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, you don't see them, you don't think about them.
And is there even anything in that island? Is it just like a forest, or is there like a place for them to sleep? Like it doesn't matter. It's just stupid to begin with.
Well, okay. Here's one suggestion. Quote. Let's see. Who is this? Martin Henriksen, the immigration affairs spokesperson for DF. He believes it would not necessarily be expensive. Quote. Maybe we can find an island that has some buildings on it already. But if not, the center could be made up of anything from containers for people to live in or tents. End quote. There you go. Just throw them in some containers. Some old container ship, you know. Got a roof over your head. Maybe a little barrel to burn some trash in. Heat you up a little bit. Doesn't sound too luxurious.
You know what would happen?
What's that?
In 20 years, they would have basically their own city there, or village, or whatever the fuck. And then the government come, hey, give us back our land. This is our land. You don't belong here.
You think so?
Well, it's never going to happen. So it's if this was a Simpsons episode, if DF was part of a Simpsons episode, that's one of the possible.
So 20 years later, it would look like a Mad Max city full of rusty containers and barrels.
Hey, I didn't say it would look bad. Maybe it would look better.
You think so?
Yeah.
If all they gave them was some tents and some containers.
Well, if you look at a lot of like, let's say, immigrants from poor countries that come into the States or Western Europe, they're the most hardworking people, right?
Generally, yeah.
So maybe they get something.
But these are the ones that DF rejected. You know, these are the
but they reject anyone.
they didn't want.
they reject
Surely
anyone
they would want the hard workers and the good ones, right?
if they have white skin
Mm.
and they're willing to learn Danish
Mm.
and they're willing to eat pork.
Do you think
And
that's a really a requirement? You got to eat pork. Come on.
I don't think it's a requirement. I think it's something that they probably have or will or would be willing to
Make a law about.
make something of if it brought them closer to their ideal society, which I don't think it's far fetched to say would probably be Muslim free.
Hmm.
So I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, I remember reading a few years ago something about it was probably DF something about there has to be pork in public schools because that's part of the Danish
Culture,
tradition or
tradition, or
culture.
whatever. Yeah.
You know, which it's the same thing. It's just on a different level.
Sure.
It's the same thing. Why does there have to be pork? I mean, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be. I mean, I love pork. If I was in
Sure.
school and I
Yeah,
was eating,
I get it.
I
I
would
get
like
it.
to eat pork every once in a
Yeah.
while.
I get it.
I'm not necessarily arguing with. It's just why would they care about it? Is it because they are really afraid that not having pork in schools is going to affect the culture so much that maybe in 50 years people are not going to eat pork anymore and the Danish culture tradition is going to vanish? No, it's not. Just another small.
Could be about money, Dolph. You know, Denmark's got a lot of pigs. Got to eat those pigs.
It's not.
Devil's advocate. So there you go. They are thinking about making basically a little deportation camp on an island.
A little Australia.
Little miniature Australia right here in Denmark. At the beginning of September, there's 921 people awaiting deportation right now. Almost half were not imminently scheduled to be deported. A number of these live at Kærshovedgård,
Where is that?
a deportation center near Ikast? I don't know.
Where is it? I can.
IKAST. How do you? Is it Ecast?
ECAST. I don't know. That's
was-
how I would
It
say
was
it.
formerly a prison. Local people have complained that they feel insecure and about shoplifting by inmates from the center, and DF thinks this idea would solve the problem. Wow, it's funny how they word this. They feel this was formerly a prison, and these are people waiting to be deported. I guess asylum seekers that have been rejected, and they call them inmates, like literally prisoners. And I guess in some way they are, right?
Yeah. Local people. Yeah.
There you go. DF. Banish them to an uninhabited island. Oh, boy.
It's like fucking Alcatraz.
Yeah, that's probably the closest point you could get.
Without the sharks.
Well, I guess while we're on the point of this, might as well just go into this.
Go on. Let's just go down the rabbit hole.
Let's go down the rabbit hole. Government teams up with DF for 2018 budget plan. More funds for health and elderly, and getting tougher on crime and immigrants. Okay, all right. I'm maybe on board. Let's check. Among the key points in the agreement are 4.7 billion crowns for better health and elderly care over the next 3 years. That sounds pretty good. Increase in police officers, including the reintroduction of police on horseback. Wow.
Why? Oh, yeah. Go on.
Well, we'll talk about the horses in a minute, though. Tougher punishments for crime and better infrastructure. More officers to fight crime and terror more consistently and effectively.
No. They want more officers to fight people who smoke cannabis.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's what they want.
Harder on immigration. Other measures included strengthened border controls, scrapping taxation on free telephones, and a permanent housing job scheme. On the immigration side of things, the government wants to step up efforts to withdraw time-limited asylum permits, get tougher on cheaters, focus more on returning failed asylum seekers to their homelands, better and more effective deportation, and the expulsion of criminal foreigners, to mention a few points. Hmm. Seems like the majority here is about
That's what I was thinking.
expelling foreigners.
That's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah.
Well, does it surprise you?
No, again, it doesn't. I know it's almost like we're, yeah. I mean, to me, it seems pretty obvious. I don't know, man. How much problem do you think it really causes society? Like on a daily basis, like do you feel like we're just overrun by foreign criminals that need to be kicked out right away? They can't even manage to kick out like a known gang leader.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's like he went to court and basically they weren't even able to kick him out, and he's known leader of like a violent gang. So what is all this other stuff gonna do? It seems to be there's like some fundamental problem.
I'm curious. Maybe I'm not. Maybe this is just really boring and uninteresting to me. But I'm. I wonder how much money they are willing to spend on this anti-asylum seekers stuff, and what if that same amount of money was used to actually help integrate people? What would the outcome of that be? Or what would the budget? Yeah, what would the difference be in terms of how many
Yeah.
people you can help as opposed to how many people you can kick out?
Yeah. That's a good question, actually. I wonder if there's some studies done on that. But
There probably is, but not by the F.
oh no, no, no. I don't think so. Huh, that was a complete overview for the budget agreement. I guess we could click on that, just take a little
It
peek.
it almost seems like a cartoon, right? Or some kind of
Yeah,
comic book or
like you're living in a,
villain or something like that, like a James Bond
well,
villain.
when Donald Trump is president, it just seems like everything's just like an altered form of reality, you know? Like, is this really the world we're living in? So let's see. We're looking at some key points in the agreement. So 4.7 billion Danish crowns for health and elderly care. We talked about that. In the area of health, approximately 2 billion will go to free choice and rehabilitation. And in 2019, an additional emergency medical helicopter to the outskirts. Okay. 2.7 billion crowns for better staffing at nursing homes. More free choice. So the older can choose a meal plan, focus more on securing a dignified death. Okay. Increase security, a further boost to a total of 300 police students. So police officers are actually like students in training. Hmm. Will be insured in 2018 and 2019. Tougher penalties for gross violence and burglary. Increased efforts to fight against gangster and juvenile delinquency.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Uh, Reinstatement of the rider section in Danish police. That's the horses.
yeah. That's interesting.
Better infrastructure. Extended motorway over West Futon. Speed upgrades on highways. Lower tariffs over the Great Belt Bridge. Hey, that's not too bad. That bridge is expensive as shit if you drive over it, and we've been over there a few
It is
times.
expensive.
It's like if you got a normal car and four people in it or something, it's like 240. Is it the amount of people you have in the car, or is it just
I'm not sure.
like the weight of the car and how many passengers it can hold?
I'm not sure.
Because I think every time we've gone through there in a normal car, we've paid like 240 each time, or around 240, 250. That's like $50 to go across a
It is
bridge.
expensive. It is a fucking long bridge though.
Yeah. Strengthen border control. Quality fund for vocational education. 170 million crowns. Permanent housing job scheme. Well, I'm
What's that?
interested. Yeah,
What's that? A permanent
yeah,
housing job
I'm
scheme?
interested. Yeah. Compensation tax on income from pension savings is removed. Huh. Let's look at that in Danish. Oh my God, please show me the original. In permanent boligjob-ordning. So it's okay. Not really much help there. Huh. Maybe it has.
Oh, you can.
Yeah, maybe it
There's
has.
more information about those.
Hmm.
All right, for it. I mean,
Yeah. All right. Well,
it's
There you go.
Yeah.
Some tax initiatives, some it says even here when you put the extra details, same thing, a permanent like housing job thing. That's weird. I'm interested in seeing what that entails because I mean
Yeah,
that could affect something like that could be either better or worse for me, or maybe it doesn't mean anything for me. But
I mean, to be fair, and they are doing what the people who elected them want them to do.
sure.
Which I mean, I can't really put much fault into it.
Well,
it if you look at it from that
and this is
perspective.
also part of that like the way I guess the government works here, where you need to form a government, and to do so, you got to kind of play ball with other parties, and you got to give a little bit and take a little bit. So if you want this better health and all these other things, well, you're going to have to sit down at the table with DF, where they basically extort you and say, well, if you want us to play ball with your bill, you're going to have to say talk to some immigrants and an island where we're going to kick out the asylum seekers and all this shit. So, yeah, I don't know. Might as well just keep on going down the rabbit hole,
Let's
Dolph.
go for it.
We got a few more.
Can't have two without three.
Speaking of those asylum seekers, Denmark has one of the Europe's worst asylum approval rates. Only Bulgaria and the Czech Republic decline a larger percentage in the EU.
Okay, wait. Without any more information,
Mm-hmm.
just from reading this, it could also mean that they decline more. Is it an absolute value or is it percentage wise? Because maybe they have so many people applying that they have to decline more.
It says rates. And usually when I hear rates, I think of percentages.
But still,
because like somebody,
if you have like
if
10
Donald,
million, I know it's
a
exaggeration.
percentage.
If you have 10 million people applying,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to decline most of them. Anyway, I'm just trying to.
Yeah, I guess that's maybe true. Let's see. Maybe they got.
I'm
some
sure
numbers.
that's not the case.
Maybe they got some numbers. Denmark's one of the toughest countries in the EU in which to be granted asylum, according to figures published by Eurostat. In the second quarter of 2017, only 26% of the applications were successful, down from 82% in the same period in 2016.
Wow.
Well, that's a big reduction.
But how many people? I'd also like to know how many people actually applied.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. Dansk Folkeparti is happy with the development. Quote, the best part is that fewer are now seeking asylum in Denmark. End quote.
Well, when they put the fucking ad in some Middle Eastern country, I can't remember if it was Syria or whatever, saying, don't come to Denmark.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go out of your way to put an ad saying, don't come here, yeah, they must be happy.
And you got to think about it too. For when you're talking about asylum seekers, a lot of time, I mean, you're basically talking about people from like war-torn countries that really have nowhere else to go. And, I mean, you're just saying, yeah, we know that you're basically fucked and the place you're from is completely fucked. And we got a perfectly nice society here, but you can't come here. Sorry. Nightalk. I guess
I don't know what to say for
I guess on the other hand, the alternative counterpart, Josephine Fock, was saddened. Quote, we should be a pioneer country. We should show that we can take refugees and treat them well.
There you go for it.
There you
go. No numbers of how many people
No numbers
applied.
at all on this. No, but I mean, it does say the European average is 46%. And Sweden and Germany both accepted 48%. So, I mean, 2016, Denmark went from accepting 82% down to 26. I mean, that's crazy, the reduction there. And that had to do with all the stuff going on with Inga Støjberg and cracking down and lighting candles on cakes and all that. Anyways, I know it's depressing, but the good thing is I think we got most of that out of our system now.
So it's only good news from now on, or what?
Well, I don't know if good news is what I'd categorize it as, but we could take a look. I think this is an interesting topic. Maybe it's bad news for the people that live there or in the general area, Dolph, but...
What is happening for it? Tell me. Don't withhold this information from me anymore.
Let's see. Wanted urgently. A Pied Piper for Copenhagen. If they only knew it, Copenhagen's rat population would be rubbing their paws together at the prospect of the projected food market in Boltonsgård. As it is, the nearby Kongshave surrounding Rosenborg Castle has become so infested by rats over the summer that Copenhagen's Agency for Culture and Palaces, Slots- og Kulturstyrelsen, has had to take drastic measures.
That's a nice pronunciation for it.
Thank you. The rats are nesting in the rhododendron beds and children's play areas, so traps are no longer enough. Gardeners have had to grub up the bushes using heavy equipment, and during nocturnal hours, when the gardens are closed to the public, officials are patrolling with specially trained ratting dogs and rifles in an attempt to eradicate those hardy and intelligent rodents.
There you go.
What do you think about that, Dolph?
Oh boy. If you get me started on rats for it.
I'm getting you started. You got a rat story for me?
I have a rat story.
Tell me. I want to hear it.
I'm not a big fan of rats, you know? And
okay.
I don't know. There's something about I associate rats with disease and with biting me. I don't know if they bite me. They're probably afraid of me, but I associate them with disease. And if they carry some kind of fucked up disease and they bite me, that might get into me. So I'm a little bit
creeped out.
Yeah, let's just put it like that, by rats. So a few years ago, let me see. I was living in Österpro back then, so I think it was around 2011 or 2012. There was it rained a lot at some point.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a bit of a flood, which at the time I had like on my backyard. I had it was on my backyard, like on a, how do you call it? Not a shed, but you'd go down some stairs into like a
basement,
or
storage unit outside.
Yeah, where there was where I had my washing machine, where I do my laundry, and there was also a toilet and a bathtub there, basically from old days, because I guess it was some kind of communal area back in the day for people to either shit or shower or whatever.
That.
So when these floods happened, the toilet there regurgitated a dead rat. And I just went on my, like, I was merrily walking around with my dirty laundry, you know, just ready to do another batch.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a dead rat floating in the toilet, and I didn't like that.
Did you just flush him back down?
No. Well, okay, I'm not that stupid, you know. I know it's probably not going to go down again. It seemed quite big as well, you know.
Was he starting to bloat up from all the water and rotting, or what?
Maybe. I have to say I didn't spend much time actively looking at it, because I was afraid it would give me some kind of nightmarish scenarios potentially for the rest of my life, like some kind of weird trauma. I know I sound like a pussy here. Doesn't matter. The thing is, I couldn't even take the fucking rat out of the toilet. My landlord lived close by, so I just tell him, hey man, there's a fucking dead rat in the toilet. If you want it out, you have to do it yourself. Which he did. I don't think I washed my clothes until that rat was out of there. It was a fucking dead rat. I know it's stupid. But
boy, you're really
I don't like rats.
You're not a big fan, are you?
No, I don't like rats, even when they're dead. I mean, even Ratatouille, you know the movie?
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
you don't like him either.
Well, the movie itself was okay, but come on, you don't want the rats to be making your fucking food.
Some people have pet rats.
I know. I used to have a hamster.
Rats are really smart, actually, and they're apparently very loving and social creatures.
Well, good for them, you know. If they didn't live in the fucking sewers. I mean, if I had a rat living at home, it would be different.
You raised him from a child, and he was your baby.
At least I know. The thing is,
you know that he's not dirty. It's a thing with
mostly
disease
that.
And carrying.
Yeah, I think it's mostly that. It's some kind of. It's not trauma because I haven't had bad.
You just don't want disease and germs and all that.
It's just some kind of paranoia in my mind because I associate rats with sewers and with filth.
That old bubonic plague.
Yeah, shit like that. I guess maybe in another life, maybe I lived throughout the
You know,
Black Death.
if you don't like rats,
Hmm.
you could get a cat. That'll make
Well, I
sure
know,
they
but
don't
I don't
come
have a
around.
problem with rats.
Yeah, but you for sure won't if you have a cat. They don't come around too much if you have a cat. They can sense it. They can smell it.
Actually,
And
I
if they do come around,
yeah.
if at least if you have a reasonably normal cat, it will hunt them down,
Hmm.
kill them. Maybe bring them and put them right on your bed or something
Yeah.
as like a little gift.
Oh, yeah.
You know, cats do that
Yeah.
because they feel like you're a shitty hunter because they're like, wow, this guy never brings me any dead animals to eat, and so they're like, wow, they feel sorry for you, almost like he can't even hunt for himself, he can't even kill anything, so they'll kill something and bring it to you.
Are you projecting some of
No,
your thoughts
no,
into
I
it,
don't think so.
or
I think there's been some studies. Like people wonder why. Like if you have an outdoor cat, I don't know if you've ever had like known anybody that's had like a farm cat or something like that,
no?
and they
I've
go out and kill birds or rats or whatever, and they bring them to like the
yeah,
doorstep and leave them
I've heard
there.
about that. Yeah.
I think that behavior is like they're trying to help provide for you,
Hmm. Which is surprising because usually they're so
assholes.
yes.
They
That's a good way of putting
have
it.
a bit of a reputation. Cats don't really give a fuck.
You know, I actually know a rat exterminator.
Really?
Yeah, there's this guy that
In Copenhagen?
yeah, he's part of the poker group that I play poker with every once in a while, a couple times a year.
Yeah.
And he
Has he told you some stories?
yeah, because I don't know if he's the first one or the only one, but he has been called into a million ball, into the Queen's residence
Hmm.
when there was rats problems there. I don't
Oh
want to.
boy, how dare you? How
I
dare
don't-
you, Dolph? Accuse the queen of having
hey,
a rat
I'm not
problem.
sure it's necessarily where they live or it's some kind of
Mhm.
royal
Somebody left some
place.
royal cheese
Oh
out
shit!
on a platter, and
Yeah.
rats got attracted. Well,
It's not
hey,
that we're gonna get infamous, you know. Tomorrow, Extra
maybe,
Player is gonna be like the Queen has a rat problem.
yeah, maybe. Well, maybe he was on this special team patrolling with specially trained ratting dogs
It
and
could be.
rifle.
It could actually be.
Sounds,
Next time I see him, I'll ask him.
yeah. Well, I bet they have a pretty good. I bet they get pretty good business here, because I mean, there's been you don't normally see rats out in
No,
public
no.
unless it's late at night. Have you
Oh,
ever
I've never
seen?
seen one
Oh
even.
shit! I've seen a fat ass rat like running,
Where?
running. I don't remember what street I was. It was somewhere in the Senate.
In the center.
Yeah, like it could have been Gamelto, or I don't remember exactly where, but I do remember that thing looked like the size of a cat, and it was running fast as hell from one of the drain pipes
Hmm.
on one of the side, like onto the other. Like it ran across the street and then ran up the other drain pipe and started climbing up it and going up to like the top of the building
Yeah.
or something. I was like, holy shit. I was like, that thing
How big was it?
it was pretty big. I mean, it was smaller than like a cat, but it was bigger than what I think of when I think about a rat, you know?
Yeah.
It was a hefty boy.
I've heard
It was a big
one
fella.
on my pipes
Oh,
in
yeah?
the past year or two. Yeah.
Just running around.
No, actually, I think it was stuck because okay, let's
Dude, maybe that was him. He was too fat to get in there.
I'm not entirely sure it was a rat, but when you go into your bathroom
Mm-hmm.
and then you hear some kind of some sound like that, you know, like it's like a wailing animal,
Yeah.
and then it stops, and then maybe a few minutes later it starts again,
Hmm.
and it just kind of happens constantly,
Yeah.
and it never happened before, and
So your pipes
2 days later it didn't happen anymore
your,
either.
your pipes were talking to you.
I was sober. just to make it clear,
Yeah.
I was sober during this time.
So you think he's in there, he's stuck, he's just crying
my
for
guess,
2 days.
my guess is that he was
And then he
stuck
died.
somehow, and he couldn't move, and he was crying for help.
How dare you, Dolph? How dare you not help that poor little rat?
I don't even know where the fuck it was.
It was in your pipe. You heard
Well,
it.
yeah,
you
but
could
the
have
pipe
used
is
your
a long
ears and
fucking
traced
pipe,
him down,
you know?
you know?
It goes all the way from the 5th floor.
Oh, you know a rat exterminator. You could have had him come in there and free that little animal.
I'm not sure you know what the word exterminator means.
Oh, I know what it means. I know what it means.
Yeah. It's not a freedom fighter, you know?
Well, free him from his pain.
Oh, there you go.
You know? Put him out in a humane way.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is that if I could hear it, it was probably around. I mean, I live on the 1st floor.
Maybe it was maybe it was in your toilet. Like,
no, it
ready
wasn't
to
in
come
my.
out of there.
You can't scare me like that, Ford. It doesn't. I'm not fooled easily fooled like
One
that.
of these-
No, the thing is,
One of these days you're gonna be sitting on the toilet.
yeah,
and
it's gonna come out of there up my ass. Yeah, lick whatever.
He's gonna come
sure.
there and he's just gonna jump up and bite you and hang on to your ass cheek.
Yeah, you can't scare me like that, Ford.
Think about it.
The thing is, the rat. If the rat was actually stuck there,
Mm-hmm.
I live on the 1st floor. There's 5 floors in my building. That rat ate a lot of shit.
Hmm.
Every time they flush.
It's not
On
a
that
not
note,
a pleasant thought, you know.
You're welcome.
Well, that's
All
a
of
good
you,
transition
everybody.
to the next article, isn't it?
Is it? Depends what the next article is.
Food, glorious food, Dolph.
Yeah.
Foodies mourning the pending demise at the end of this year of the Copenhagen street food on Papierøen now have reason to rejoice.
Paper. They actually make sure to just write Paper Islands in brackets there.
Come on, man. There's a bunch of foreigners that don't speak Danish. They don't know what Papierøen means.
They don't need to.
They don't know how to say it either. They just say, man, let's go to the paper island. Seriously, I hear it.
I'm sure you do.
When we're walking, you know, anyways, in front of DIS and stuff, I'll hear people I'm like, oh, yeah, let's go to the paper island, get something to eat. What's wrong with that, Dolph?
Nothing's wrong with that.
Tell
me more about the Paper Island, Ford.
People have some reason to rejoice, Dolph, provided local politicians approve the plan. If all goes well, a new international street food market could open next summer in the 4,000 square meters of buildings comprising Boltensgård off Kongens Nytorv, which already houses establishments such as the NASA nightclub.
Yeah.
Plan is for 30 to 35 food stalls and a 1,500 square meter outdoor cobbled yard to provide a permanent food market with more seating than was available on Paper Island.
There you go, Ford.
What do you think about that?
I think it sounds good.
I think so too. I was actually having a discussion with one of the guys in my Danish class about how he thinks food trucks are the biggest ripoff because you pay so much and you get so little. Like that's his feeling about it. What do you think? Like, I haven't eaten at too many food trucks here, or kind of this food cart stand. I mean, we've been to what's the one right there near Norrport? What's it called?
Near Norrport.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right near the metro there. Oh my God.
I don't know.
I
don't go to Norrport anymore.
Anyways, there's also like a big food court right there. Torvehallene, right? Or
yeah. Oh, when you say food truck, I mean, that's not a food truck.
No. Well, they have a few that are outside of it, but it's kind of the same concept anyway. Food market, whatever. I mean, I would agree. I think that the few times I've eaten there, I feel like I did pay quite a bit and really didn't get a lot of food. It was pretty decent, but I never walked away feeling really satisfied the way you do if you get a double cheeseburger at a place like Greasy Spoon or something.
Yeah, but you haven't paid as much as you do for a double cheeseburger at Greasy Spoon.
I'm not sure about that. I think when we went to some taco place on Torvehallene, and I think I paid 120, 130 crowns for three tacos. And,
that's Hijo de Sanchez probably.
Yeah, and I thought, well, 3 tacos, okay, that should be enough. Like, I'm not even going to be able to finish them all. But they were
small.
tiny, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, when it comes to taco trucks, I feel that there's maybe it's because I lived in California and you lived in Texas, so I've experienced
everything's bigger in Texas, though. Even the tacos.
So I've experienced do you know that for a fact? Are the tacos in Texas bigger than the tacos in California? You don't know that. There you go.
I don't have conclusive proof, Dolph, but I'd be willing to bet you some money. that the average taco size in Texas is larger than the average taco size in California.
California is a big place for it.
Sure, Texas is a big place too.
I know, but California has more people. Anyway, yeah, I do find that the tacos here are pretty fucking small. And unfortunately, that's one of the reasons why I don't eat more of them. Or more Mexican food.
Yeah,
because I love Mexican food.
Yeah,
I
Mexican
love
food
it.
here, it's
But
just
it's
not
just-
very well done.
No, it.
They've been able to do, like, there's other types of food and cuisine that's not native to Denmark, of course, that I feel like they do pretty well here.
Mhm.
Mexican is not one of those.
Well, I think Hija de Sanchez actually has pretty good Mexican food. The thing is, it's the same way that you have Chinese food in the States, you know?
Mm.
It's like it's Chinese food, but it's not really
Like
Chinese
Americanized
food.
Chinese food.
Yes, exactly. And I feel that and I mean, I might be wrong, you know, as far as I know, she is Mexican. So she probably is making, well, she knows what the fuck she's doing, you know?
She's an authority on the subject.
Well, definitely more than me. The thing is, I
Mhm.
have lived in California, so I am a little bit. And the food is clearly very different.
Well, I mean, there's also a difference in, for instance, you have like this Cali Mexican or like Baja type
Mhm.
Mexican
Or
that you
Tex-Mex and
versus Tex-Mex
Mhm.
that you have more in Texas and stuff like that. And the Cali stuff is more about like fish and kind of like I don't know, like fresh veggies and stuff and like when they use the limes to kind of cook the fish. What is this called again? Ceviche type of thing.
I haven't eaten much fish in Mexican
Okay.
restaurants.
Really? In California?
Yeah.
Okay. But like in Tex-Mex, for instance, there's more like refried beans and like lard and cheese and stuff like that.
That
So,
sounds like my kind of food.
oh, it's amazing. I miss it so much. That's one thing I really miss.
I
Some
do.
good Tex-Mex.
It's one of the things I miss about California.
And it was so affordable.
Yeah, it was
You
cheap.
you could go to a Tex-Mex place and get a plate that would feed like 3 grown men for like $7 or something of like,
Yeah.
$8 or $10 for like a badass plate of fajitas. Like a half
Yeah.
kilo or a kilo of meat.
It was good.
Easy. It was amazing. Miss that, Dolph.
I do miss Mexican food as well.
But maybe there'll be a new Mexican place in this new food court they're making.
I was actually talking with a friend of mine a short time ago about Mexican food, and I think I think he was saying that he wasn't crazy about Mexican food
At all? Or just here?
Well, he said that he wasn't a big fan of Mexican food, and then
But has he had some legit like
no, and then I
Okay.
was like, "Well, have you really had Mexican
Yeah.
food?" And he's like, "Yeah, well, I had it here and there."
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
"Dude, you haven't had it in Copenhagen."
Yeah, he's like, oh, I had Mexican food. I ordered nachos from a takeaway place one time,
In Copenhagen, yeah.
Nachos here are so bad too. They really don't do a good job on nachos.
I want some Mexican food.
I know, man.
There's a place on Istegel. I'm not sure it's very good, but I haven't tried it yet.
Got to be better than nothing, right?
Hopefully.
You-
Actually, Hija de Sanchez just opened a new place on Istegel as well. So there's
Okay.
going to be maybe, and it's on the other side of the. Maybe it's not right across, but I know it's on the other side of the street. So maybe there's going to be a bit of a
Competition.
yeah
Heating up.
Mexican-
Things are
Mex-
heating up.
There you go. Mexican food wars.
Yeah.
Istegel, 2018.
Istegel style.
What's Istegel style?
I don't know.
Well,
What
no,
is
I'll
it?
tell you what Istegel style is.
You tell me. You live there.
Yeah. If I could say anything about how a Mexican food war
Would go.
in Vestapol Istegel style would be, it would be just random old Mexican mamas grabbing you by the arm, saying, "Hey, you want some Mexican food? Come here." I'm not making the Mexican accent, by the way. I don't know. That's
That was a sad attempt. You didn't have
no. I
clarify.
didn't even attempt to. I just
No.
wanted to make a different, like to make sure I wanted to make a voice that's not mine.
Mm.
I'm notoriously bad at making
So we wouldn't
specific
confuse
accent.
you with a Mexican.
Yes. I wanted you
Okay.
to make sure that it wasn't me
Yeah. Don't worry. I don't
saying
confuse
this.
you with a Mexican, even in your own voice.
Yeah, that's how it will go.
Yeah.
Grabbing your arm. Come get some Mexican food here. Best food in town. Come on, baby, you want Mexican food?
A Mexican Christmas, Dolph.
Mexican food?
You know, also some nice Mexican desserts.
I actually don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Like churros?
Is that Mexican? For me, that's Spanish.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, typical American, anything Mexican, anything that ultimately comes from Spain to an American is, it's Mexican,
there was
right?
a Spanish person who sold me this. It must be Mexican.
Yeah, that's right.
And all the Puerto Ricans are going crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. That's the
news.
Anyway.
I am looking forward to Papierøen in this case, or the Copenhagen street food moving a bit closer to the center. Even though with the bridge now, with the bridge on Nyhavn, it's actually not as bad.
Okay.
Right now, it's easier to get there because you don't need to go around on Langebro or Knippelsbro. But yeah, it's.
Oh, speaking of food trucks and carts and all that, I went last night. I went to that Verdensmarket, which is the world market thing that they have across from Norbro station. Like when you get off the Esto, and then there's that 7-Eleven there.
Mm-hmm.
On the opposite side of the other corner, they have that TP or that tent now, and those food trucks around it.
Yeah.
We went there last night, and
what'd you eat?
Well, I didn't eat anything. A few people got some kind of soup, some sort of Asian soup. It was some like I don't know if it was like a ramen or something like that, or maybe like a noodle dish with soup. And somebody else got some like pancakes, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a few beers, but it was really nice in there, man. It was super chill. I really I enjoyed myself more than, I guess, when you look at it from the outside.
Nice.
It doesn't really. To me, it never really looked like much. Like, okay, I guess it's interesting, but I was never really drawn to it. But yeah, we all just people from my Danish class. We went out and had some drinks over there, and it was really nice. So I can actually highly recommend. Just if you want to go hang out there, get something to eat, and have some drinks. It's really warm in that tent. Like it was really shitty, miserable last night.
Yeah,
with all the like frozen rain and sleet or a little bit of snow. And I was thinking, oh man, this tent is going to be like leaky and not very comfortable or whatever. Dude, it was warm as hell in there. There was I got a few drops of water on my head. Like every now and then, like a little, like one drop would leak through or something. It wasn't bad, but it felt great in there. So nice.
Yeah, you also have Harry's place around there. That's the place I was telling you earlier today about.
Okay.
You get it's a classic hot dog and
were you telling me about that earlier today?
Sandwich. Yeah, that place, really tiny place that I couldn't remember the name.
Okay.
That where you could get a hot dog or a frikadelle sandwich or stuff like that. Actually, I don't know. Maybe you can get fläskesteg there as well. I don't know.
You think so?
Possibly. It's the kind of place that would serve something like that. There you go. Piked your interest.
Interesting. Well, I was just checking to see if we had any updates on the drone situation, but I got no new news.
You got no new news.
Not on that.
You got olds.
Yeah, I just got old articles about that. Unlucky.
Yeah, I haven't been there since last week, so I haven't had the chance of seeing those beautiful flying machines.
Mm-hmm.
So is that it or what, Ford?
I think that's...
Did we run out of stuff?
I feel like we did. How long is it today? It feels like a short one.
It's 1 hour and a half around.
Oh, okay. It's our normal thing. Maybe it just felt a little shorter than normal. Are we going to do another one on Saturday?
Maybe. Well,
a Christmas special?
I'm going away on Sunday, so...
Okay, so we got to do one on Saturday if we're going to do one before you leave, basically.
Yes.
So, maybe a little Christmas special.
There you go.
What do you think?
Let's keep the idea in the air.
No guarantees on a Christmas special.
I don't want to break a promise.
Anything else? I'm trying to think if we had any other things that were particularly interesting, but I don't think we do. Remember to like, subscribe, drop a review, whatever you're gonna do if you enjoy the podcast. But not if you didn't enjoy it. And if you have an update, if we're wrong about the prostitution law, if we don't know what we're talking
Well, we
about.
just read the fucking article.
Yeah. Now we know. Now we know. But that's thanks to a listener. Send us that good information. Because I will say that I feel like sometimes the articles we read are not of the absolute highest caliber.
Yeah.
So there you go.
If it wasn't obvious yet, we try to find the
cream of the crop. Even though it's called Unfiltered Copenhagen,
we do filter the news.
We do kind of filter the news in some way. We look and see what we think is interesting, what looks fun to talk about. So that's all I got.
Okay, then that's it. There's no point in doing this without you, Ford. If you're done, I'm done.
See you guys on Saturday.
Ta-ta.